Jai Supadika Shishi Guru Gaur Chandra Ju Ki Jai. Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ju Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakaacharya Astater Sata Shri Shiman Srila Bhakti Sundar Govindadev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakaacharya Astater Sata Shri Shiman Srila Bhakti Rakak Sri Radhe Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai. Welcome to Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Mission Morning Class and Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Chita Padakamalam Shri Gurung Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitangstam Sajivam Sadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitangscha Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita Ki Jai. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Ki Jai. Srila Om Vishnupad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai.
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Go, okay. Is bathing them, cleansing them with oil, dressing them. This is done as though we're seeing them as divine, like a deity, or he's considering himself the servant of the Braja Gopis. This is his actual inner identification. This is who he is, really. And so, and in a very high way. And so, Pradyumna Mishra, though, was disturbed by that. And he thought, this is not very nice behavior for a Vaishnava. And coming back to Mahaprabhu, and now Mahaprabhu is explaining something to him. And this is the 5th chapter of Antya Lila, and verse number 37. I am a sannyasi, Mahaprabhu is saying, and I certainly consider myself renounced. But what to speak of seeing a woman? Even if I hear the name of a woman, I feel changes in my mind and body. Therefore, who could remain unmoved by the sight of a woman? I am a renounced person, and I consider that I am renounced. But still, this is a difficulty. He said, it is very difficult. Of course, Mahaprabhu is saying this on behalf of the conditioned souls. Ramananda Raya Rakata Shuna Sarva Jana Kahi Barakata Nahe Jaha Ascharja Katar. Excuse me. Ascharja Katana. Everyone, please hear these topics about Ramananda Raya. Although they are so wonderful and uncommon that they should not be spoken. Mahaprabhu is saying, he's so uncommon that, this is only a discussion among certain people, but still I'm saying it and I want everyone to hear it. Eke devadasi ar sundari taruni tarashaba anga seva karena apani. The 2 professional dancing girls are beautiful and youthful. Yet Sri Ramananda Roy personally massages their entire bodies with oil. Snanadi karaya paraya vasa vibhushana guhya angerahaya tahadarashana sparshana. He personally bathes and dresses them and decorates them with ornaments. In this way, he naturally sees and touches the private parts of their bodies. Tabu nirvikara raya ramanande ramana nana bhavo dgara tare karaya shikshana. Nevertheless, the mind of Sri Ramananda Rai never changes. Although he teaches the girls how to physically express all the transformations of ecstasy, Ramananda Rai's mind is not in material life. And this is to be heard by us. That this thing is possible. And it is wonderful. And it is not at all a loss for him. He's thinking, oh, to see, anyways. Nivikara deha manakashta pashana sama ascharja taruni sparshe nirvikara mana. His mind is as steady as wood or stone. Indeed, it is wonderful that even when he touches such young girls, his mind never changes. Eke Raman Dane Rahoye Adhikara Tate Jani Aprakrita Deha Tahara. The authority for such acts is the prerogative of Ramananda Rai alone. He's saying only that kind of qualification is giving him this kind of service. Just like we bathe the deity and dress him, and in some temples, of course, the deities of Radha and Krishna are there. But we're dressing them, bathing them, but we're not thinking any wrong thing. That would be impossible. So Ramananda Rai is like that. He's not thinking any wrong thing. He is preparing for the service of Jagannath. For I can understand this authority, the authority for such acts is the prerogative of Ramananda Rai alone. For I can understand that his body is not material, but has been completely transformed into a spiritual entity. Taha, so in other words, when one's body is fully transcendental, he has no feelings of exploitation at all. He's not in any way connected with that. Taha ramane rabhavateha jane matra taha jani bare ar dutiya nahi patra. He alone and no one else can understand the position of his mind. Kintu shastra drishya kakari anuman Shri Bhagavata Shastra tahate praman. But I can make a guess in terms of directions from the Shastras. The Vedic scripture, Srimad Bhagavatam, gives a direct evidence in this matter. Everybody following this? This is very purifying for us to hear, to be connected with such a personality as Ramananda Rai. Of course, connected through initiation in this line. But also, just hearing about his glory, this is actually very uplifting for us. Brajabharu Shange Krishnera Rasadi Vilas Jai Janakahe Shune Kariya Vishwas Hridroga Kama Tara Tatkaleha Yakshaya Tinaguna Kshobanahe Mahadhirahaya. When one hears or describes with great faith the pastimes of Lord Krishna, such as his rasa dance with Braja Gopis, the disease of lusty desires in his heart and the agitation caused by the three modes of material nature are immediately nullified, and he becomes sober and silent. What does silent mean?
Silent?
It means he's never talking anymore, or silent means he's never making the noise of material consciousness. His talk, his movements, and everything is connected and completely imbued with divine love. That is, any noise which is connecting in a gross way with material nature is called noise, any sound.
Wow.
Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments in this connection, quote, any person seriously inclined to hear about the pastimes of Krishna's rasa dance, as mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam, with great faith and a transcendental spiritually inspired mind, is immediately freed from the natural lusty desires found in the heart of a materialistic man. And so this next part is important in this purport, because we are not listening to Srimad Bhagavatam from just anyone. We will only hear these topics of Krishna and the kirtans from a Vaishnava, from a pure Vaishnava. When a pure Vaishnava speaks on Srimad Bhagavatam and another pure Vaishnava hears Srimad Bhagavatam from such a realized soul, both of them live in the transcendental world where the contamination of the modes of material nature cannot touch them. Freed from the contamination of the modes of nature, the speaker and hearer are fixed in a transcendental mentality, knowing that their position on the transcendental platform is to serve the Supreme Lord. The class of men known as Prakrita Sahajias, who consider the transcendental pastimes of Lord Krishna something like the behavior between a man and woman in the material field, artificially think that hearing the Rasa Lila will help them by diminishing the lusty desires of their diseased hearts. But because they do not follow the regulated principles, but instead violate even ordinary morals, their contemplation of the Rasa Lila is a futile attempt which sometimes result in their imitating the dealings of the gopis and Lord Krishna. To forbid such habits of the Prakrita Sahajas, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has excluded their material intelligence by using the word Vishwas, faith. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, Srila Sukadeva Goswami says, Naitat samacharech jatu manasapi hyanishvara vinasyatyakcharan maudyad jatarudro bijambisham. Certainly, one who is not the Supreme Personality of Godhead should never, even within his mind, imitate the activities of the transcendental Leela of Sri Krishna. If out of ignorance he does so, he will be destroyed, just as if he were to imitate Lord Shiva, who drank the poison produced from the ocean. So only Lord Shiva can drink an ocean of poison. And anyone who imitates Lord Shiva will die, will be very dead very quickly. And in the same way, anyone who imitates the pastimes of Krishna, thinking that they're just their material pastime, will also similarly be destroyed. So if you go to India, or when you go to India, we could say, you will find that
Imitation?
those imitationists. Srila Guru Maharaj tells a very funny story about that. So there are these men who dress up as gopis,
Oh my god.
and they got their big lipstick, and they're trying to do all these kind of feminine postures.
Oh my god.
It's really gross. Their little beards are showing, their whiskers are showing.
Oh my god.
It's really, and then there were some devotees preaching, and they came up. One of them came up and, oh, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, you have nothing to do with Krishna. You have nothing to do with the gopis. You are the opposite of what is worshipable by us. And Guru Maharaj said, and then the man came out. He got mad.
Got mad. Sudarshan Prabhu also was telling us months ago how some people in India, once they hear kirtan, they start like crying.
Oh yeah, that's also part of that.
And they go to the floor and start
Roll
crying.
around on the floor.
Have you seen that?
Huh?
Have you seen that when you were in India?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's it's just imitation
Wow.
of the symptoms that they've read about
Mm-hmm.
of pure devotion. And Srila Guru Maharaj tells another funny story about this.
Mm-hmm.
He said one Muslim priest, he used to give a big lecture every day, and this old woman in the back, she was weeping. Have you heard this story before?
Uh-huh.
Every day she's crying so much during his class, and then one day he approached her, he said, Mother, you must feel so much joy from hearing my words. And she goes, well, no, it's just that I had a goat, and she had a beard just like yours.
Like yours.
A beard like yours, like the hair. And when she was chewing the grass, her mouth would move just like your mouth moves when you're talking. And she died, and so every time you talk, I remember my she-goat.
Oh my god.
It's something connected with that. Oh, Lord.
Imagine the face of that Muslim priest.
What was that?
Imagine the face of the Muslim priest.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, so the imitation thing, or the external show of a thing, certainly, has nothing to do with it. And aren't we lucky? We'll just Ujjwala Madhura Prema Bhakti Seipaya Anande Krishna Madhurye Vihare Sadaya, tasting transcendental, effulgent, sweet, ecstatic love of Krishna. Such a person can enjoy life 24 hours a day. So this is the other kind of person, the rare, great soul who is relishing Srimad Bhagavatam without a single tinge of mundane contamination. That person, tasting transcendental, effulgent, sweetly ecstatic love of Krishna, such a person can enjoy life 24 hours a day in the transcendental bliss of the sweetness of Krishna's pastime. Who else can enjoy happiness 24 hours a day?
The Lord?
Yeah, the Lord and the devotee.
Can I ask a question? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is showing us that he feels separation and he cries. And then when we read these verses of the surrendered souls, the pure devotees, they also are expressing some pain. the pure devotees in Vrindavan, they also live like some extreme situations of separation of the Lord. So is devotion the same as happiness, pure happiness, when separation?
The happiness of devotion is a very mysterious thing to the conditioned soul. We do things to get a result. Devotion itself is the nectar. Pure devotion is the essential sweetness of the heart. Devotion itself. The result of that devotion, that's not the thing. So in separation, devotion is increased. And in union it is increased. There's always an increase of devotion, but separation increases that devotion extremely. It just is by the nature of it. It's just a natural thing. It's not like a mechanical thing or anything like that. This is the nature of love. So that separation is as sweet as nectar, and it burns like the bite of a cobra. But in both of those qualities are nectarian. Because devotion is awakening and awakening and awakening more and more. It's infinite. Infinite means also increasing by the very nature of infinite. There's no edge of it. So this is a very good question and an important question. Devotion is so noble, so dignified. It is the essence of beauty and reality, and like the word goodness, because we are associating it with certain mundane things, it doesn't do justice. What we consider good and high and religious, those feelings that we've had about religion and, piety and giving, those are nasty compared to the pure devotion of Vrindavan. I'm sorry to say that, but it sounds but because it's mixed with so many other things. We don't realize that, we can't always see that, but we can get some glimpse of it from time to time. Just how noble devotion is. It doesn't have any desire for anything other than the happiness of that person to whom they are devoted. That's it. It's real. It's actual devotion. And that's hard to find even in the Veda. So shame on us. The devotion is such a foreign thing to us. It has no other motive. It is real. It's actual devotion. And so that fire of separation and those tears, but there's union in that. Do you understand? There's union within separation. That is bringing closer to Krishna than before. But it is in the mood of separation. So these things are not going to be understood some degree, but those things will be, hopefully, come to our hearts. But there's no faking it. We're not here for the cheap goods. Real devotion is what we're here for. And real devotion is only for that person to whom we're devoted. The real thing has no other purpose. It's only for him. So this is something other, outside of Krishna, outside of devotion to the devotee, the real devotee of the Lord. This is a topic of no substance in any other context. It has there's no reality of it. It's just a bunch of words. So we're hearing about real things and bowing down and making that our trajectory and our prospect, even though it is so high. But we're hearing about this every day. It is purifying us. The holy name is purifying us. The name himself, Radha Krishna, Hare Krishna, have come to purify us and awaken that in us. And the Gayatri mantra is coming to very much turn all of our, Guru Maharaj said, turn all of our mundane desires into transcendental desires. Take all those desires and purify them and make them so glorious. So the nectar is in devotion itself. Srimati Radharani is devotion herself. And she has no thought of herself as separate from her service to Krishna, from her devotion to Krishna. So we're not going to elaborate on that, but we have to understand that we are serving the servants of the servant of the serving energy. And without her and without them, we're not interested in Krishna. That will be something, what Krishna? That will be something not real. Anyways, good question.
Thank you for the answer.
We're hearing all these things from our gurus and trying to remember them. So again, a transcendentally sober person who with faith and love continually hears from realized soul about the activities of Lord Krishna in his rasa dance with the gopis, or one who describes such activities, can attain full transcendental devotional service at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thus, lusty material desires, which are the heart disease, hridrogam, means the disease of the heart of all materialistic persons, are for him quickly and completely vanquished. So if you tell, I'm going to go back and we'll read this verse again tomorrow, but if we tell someone, for example, who has a heroin addiction, you know what? You can be freed from this. He's going to be like, then why would I even get up in the morning? Can't imagine life without it. When it's actually so hellish. You know, so somebody's seeing somebody, or somebody came in here and they were really very insane.
They came here?
Walked in the temple, and they were under the influence of some other drug. I forget what it is. Really, methamphetamine, something like that.
Methamphetamine or fentanyl?
Meth. Somebody told me, I said, what's wrong with that guy? And he's like, he's a meth head. I think it was meth, I'm pretty sure. I don't know so much about it, but he was completely out of it. But he's thinking, oh yeah, I've got this wonderful thing I can buy. But to us, it looked like he was actually in hell. Literally in hell. We just took him outside, gave him a little prasadam, sent him on his way. He also smelled like a dead dog. The whole temple room was just, whoa. We had to air everything out. But he's thinking, I'm enjoying myself.
How did he get here?
So it's the same with all of our material tendencies. We're addicted to them, but they look very sad to the sadhus. So, like burning in a fire. Oh.
Smelling like dead dogs.
And they say, you can get rid of this. We're like, why would I do that?
Yeah.
Haribol. Jai Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Jai Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj ki jai. Jai Shri Om Vishnupade Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Haribol. Jai Sri Sri Upadesamrita ki jai. Shri Rupa Goswami ki jai. We're so lucky we're hearing about the meetings of Srila Rupa Goswami at Dasashrameda Ghat, and also again in Jagannath Puri, and hearing all these wonderful things. And here is the result, Sri Sri Upadesamrita, among other, of course, so many books that Srila Rupa Goswami composed. So we're worshipping Upadesamrita. We are trying to please them, to please our guardians through our application of our mind intelligence and words and everything, to try to learn what they're trying to give us, and maybe get an opportunity to share all these things. Okay, ready?
Always.
All right. Vacho vegam manasakroda vegam jiva vegam udarupasta vegam etan vegan yo vishaheta dhira sarvam apimam prativim sastisyat. And that is about
The six urges.
the 6 urges. Number 1, the 6 urges. Atyahara prayasascha prajalpo niyamagra janasangaschaloyam cha sabir bhakti vinashati.
That's about the 6 faults that destroy bhakti.
Yes. Utsaha nishchayadarya tat karma pravardana Sangatyaga sato vitte sabir bhakti prasidyati.
That one is about the 6 qualities that nourish devotion.
Yes. Dadati pratigrahnati guhyam makyati pritchati bhunte bhojayate chaiva sadvidam pritilakshanam.
That one is about the 6 the 6 types of characteristics of love between devotees.
The 6 types of
Characteristics.
Oh, characteristic.
Characteristics of love between devotees.
Krishneti yasya giritam manasaduriyeta Dikshasti chet pranati bischa bhajantam isham Sushushaya bhajana vigyam ananyamanya Nindadi shunya hridim ipsita hridam ipsita sangalabja. Still struggling with that one.
And you were reading, right?
I was going back and forth. I know it, but not knowing it completely yet, I can't just rattle it off. I mean, I can sometimes, or you could say most of the time. But every once in a while, I just go, what's the next word? So keep working on it. Then, that is the...
Oh, this is about the different gradations of relationship between the different gradations of relationship with those who have a relationship with the holy name and
The Lord's
Lord,
name.
and the Lord's
Yes,
name.
very good. And then 6. Dishtai sabha pujanite vapushascha doshe na prakritatvam bhakta janasya pasyet gangam basamna kalu buddha pena panke brahma dravatvam apakachati niradharmai.
This one is about
Remembering the Ganga.
remembering the Ganga and do not consider the faults of a devotee mundane because of his nature.
Yeah, it's because of nature or some fault in his body or something like that, that like the Ganga's current is never affected by those external things.
Is this about like the body itself, or is it about like faults in the mind, or?
Well, it won't be, they're apparent faults. I mean, the example would be, Sri Ramananda Rai. Because it looked like he had some fault there. What are you doing?
With the woman, with the woman.
With those young girls, he's preparing them like deities. Like when now you learn how to bathe the deity, and you're giving so many different kinds of service, but there's no disturbance by that to anyone who's sane. So he's doing this, but apparently there's a fault. But there is no fault actually. Do you follow? It looks like that. To Pradyumna Mishra, this was like, what? But only Ramananda Roy can do this. He has no connection with mundanity at all. His mind could never think in that way. This would be reprehensible. So there's an apparent fault, but it is not actually a fault. But you could say, or just as Mahaprabhu was saying to Sanatana Goswami, you think that these sores on your body are a fault that I'm going to be averse to. I see your body as fully transcendental. Everything about it is transcendental. Therefore, I am happy to embrace you, even if some of the blood coming from your sores comes on I don't care. This is to me like sandalwood. So apparent faults. This is referring to the great descending, pure-hearted Vaishnava. Their bodies are as transcendental as they are. So there may be an apparent fault. Like there's an apparent fault in the Ganga. But this is nothing. Nobody's going to not jump in the Ganga because of that. So what seems to be something to a mundane eye, we as practitioner devotees should understand this is my misunderstanding. I do not see the transcendental. Now this is about great souls, but even amongst ourselves who are practitioners on different levels, maybe that doesn't matter so much, but we're not trying to concentrate on the fault. We will become cynical. And cynicism is a very dangerous fault in a practitioner devotee. If you become cynical, everything's wrong, so look at that, I don't want to live like that. We don't want to do that. We're not concentrating on the faults. Unless you're a teacher, and then you have to point out faults. Of course, that's your job, but it's not done with any other mood than to give some good help. So even amongst ourselves, we're not concentrating on the fault. It's not like there aren't any faults, and we're going to artificially not notice. That would be artificial, but we are not. That is not the essence of what's going on. We want to associate both mentally and physically and in our own concentration, we want to associate with the best part of everyone. Or that will be our fault. Why am I attracted to this? What is the nourishment to me of this person's fault that I'm so attracted to it? But we will be eating that, and we will have that fault in us through that contemplation. There's no way around it. So we want to eat the good things. We want to be nourished by the high qualities of another person. That's why we associate with devotees, and we associate with devotees in the temple, where conversation is very good, always Krishna-centered. And if we hear something that is not Krishna-centered in a very inappropriate way, we can say something. And even outside, so-called outside, but when we're in the association of devotees, outside and inside should be the same. You should go, do nourishing and wholesome things with the devotees, and not become the helper of being an influence of distraction. I mean, there's all kinds of joking and laughing, and we can discuss many matters, but we don't want to do degraded things with the other devotees, or with anyone, really, with anyone. How will that be service? Or friendship? Guru Maharaj said, you are simply, and I've been quoting this, I know, but it really struck me, piling karma on the head of the person you're with in the name of friendship. So there is no friendship there. It's exploitation. So what I'm saying is, in relation to this verse, we want to associate and concentrate on the Vaishnavata of a person, or the potential Vaishnavata, the Vaishnava quality, or the potential Vaishnava quality when we go out and speak to others. We want to give some nourishment. Not that I'm going to have some interaction with you and you have no benefit from that. I'll keep my treasure to myself. Even if it's only mentally, to give some hope in our mind to this person that he will connect with our Guru Varga one day. So that's also on that level. But when we're speaking about the great descending Vaishnavas, this is, we will not misunderstand the inequality in them, physical or anything, to be mundane. So we have those two great examples in front of us right now of Srila Sanatana Goswami. And it's not that Mahaprabhu was saying, well, I'm not going to concentrate on the fact that your body has a bad odor. And it's not like that. He's thinking, this is nectar. His body is made of nectar. He doesn't, there's just no, the mundane, what the senses are perceiving, that is misunderstanding of the nectar of the form of the Vaishnava. Is that kind of clear? So we do tend to want to see the faults in others because it gives us feeling of substance in ourselves. But this is it's something we need to contemplate. Shushamikshemano. I must carefully self-examine. Why do I do this? What is it in me? Where is the fault in myself that I'm so attracted to the faults of others? But that doesn't mean, that's not artificial. Because we may choose our association, and that will require discrimination. But that discrimination should not be based on envy or some joyfulness that I've seen some fault that I'm better. We just do that. That's the conditioned soul's nature. but not very good. That's not a good nature. So we're working on that by self-examination, and at the same time discriminating in terms of our association. Tricky business. It's not really tricky, but we have to understand things systematically. But and then we are very much on our guard against cynicism, because that's another dark hole to get into.
What is cynicism?
A cynic is somebody who's always seeing the bad thing. He becomes like, oh, everything's bad. The world is bad, and that person's bad, and I don't want to be with anybody. They get into their little hole and they just look out the window at all the bad things. A cynic. He becomes bitter. That is also a deep kind of illusion. We are in the opposite direction. We are seeing joy everywhere. And even though we may choose our association, that person with who is maybe not good association for me at this time, but I'm not cynical about that. I'm seeing that the Lord has sent me this person so that I can try to see where my weaknesses are, that I may be influenced by that. So we're seeing Krishna in the center, and by seeing that the Lord is sending all these different kinds of impressions to me through persons, through many things, that everything is positive. There's nothing negative. We're the opposite of cynics. But we must see Krishna in the center, and that requires surrender. Surrender is the essence of our practice, and it's the essence of reality, actually. And if we leave that out, we really will not understand what we're doing. Is that pretty clear?
Thank you.
And it's a thing, cynicism can happen, but it is a disease. It is not a healthy condition. We are the opposite of a cynic. We are seeing the positive, the bright, the light, the sweetness, the beauty in everything. Even someone attacks me. Well, you sent that to me, my Lord. Sometimes it takes some time. It takes some time. Suddenly some fault comes out in me that I wasn't aware of. And then we remember, my Lord, I'm feeling confused and bewildered, but I know that you're showing me something and I'm waiting to understand it. You can't believe how you can understand things through that process. So quickly, a big problem in material life can suddenly become very clear. Maybe it would never have become clear any other way. Oh well, maybe after 1,000,000 years of practice. Guru Maharaj said after a long time. But through surrender, immediately he can show you so clearly what you're doing, what is coming out, what you suddenly are noticing in yourself and you feel a little confused, like you're going backwards. But no, this thing is coming out, like when you're boiling butter and ghee solids, the butter solids are coming out. It's not a bad thing, it's a good thing. They're being separated from you, and suddenly you're aware of it, that you weren't aware of before. So you feel like, am I going in the wrong direction? No, it is coming out. So we can see, oh, this tendency is in myself. And it was always there, but it didn't seem to be a problem. And now we can suddenly see it as a problem. It is separating itself from me, and the Lord is arranging that. So we cannot become frightened by that. But we must deal with it in surrender. Jai Sapadika. Beautiful Sri Sri Guru Gaurachandra.
Jai.
So this is our process. It's a very dynamic thing. Very dynamic. And you have the good association, someone you can talk to about it, and also your inner sushamiksha, self-examination. In the line of our gurus and with surrender. Essential. Haribo, Haribo. Wow, we're still. Maybe we'll read one little thing from.
Okay.
I love this. This is really important. Any other questions?
Oh, very many.
No, I mean also online. Or
No.
comments or anything.
They're offering their obeisances.
Jai Gurudev.
Well,
All right. So we, Jai Srila Bhakti Rakha Sri Radha Goswami Maharaj, continuing, we're on page 157 and the middle of the page, and we're reading these commentaries by Srila Guru Maharaj, who's characteristically goes to the center of every question. We should avoid Guru Martya Buddhi, thinking Guru to be an ordinary mortal. As it has been said of the water of the Ganges, so Gurudev is also seen to eat, to sleep, to pass stool and urine, and sometimes suffer from disease. All these things may disturb our mind. Quote, he's an ordinary man, so why should I try to have my highest respect and regard for him? These things may come to our mind. Martya Buddhi, the signs and symptoms of a mortal person are sometimes seen in him, and in the sadhus and the Vaishnavas also. Vaishnavas may come in different sections. Haridas Thakur came in the Mohammedan section. He came from the Muslim community, Haridas Thakur.
Srila Sanatana Goswami too, right?
Oh, he was born in a Brahmin family.
Oh.
But he was forced to be engaged in the government service. He and Rupa were forced into that service because of their brilliance, and they had to do it. So they associated with the Muslim community very much. So they considered themselves to have fallen from their position, from their birth. So this is external, and these are very important things that Mahaprabhu has arranged for our education and our discernment. Haridas Thakur came in the Mohammedan section, and so many Parshads came in lower sections, not amongst the Brahmins. We may find Ganges water to be filthy by material consideration, but the purifying effect of it is independent of this material aspect. We are to see it like that. The purifying capacity is another thing beyond our conception of material capacity, of material good and bad. We are to make a distinction there. Jai, how beautiful is that? How wonderful is Upadesamrita? How would we know these things? Never. Never. You can read every book in the world. Outside of these books, you will never find this. It's not possible. There may be something that we read that is kind of metaphorical, but it is not that essential thing that is connected with the highest service. The conclusion of Sri Upadesamrita is service at Radha Kund. That is something beyond us, but we should understand that we are hearing instructions in that line from the potent heart and pen and mouth of those who are in that line. And that is coming. That connection is what is coming through these instructions. And we shouldn't compare them to some other instruction coming from a lower source. Consciousness is what we are connecting to. And Guru Maharaj said, and this is very important, and I heard this very, very recently, Srila Guru Maharaj is saying, that person to whom you are connected, that is all in all. When you're, who we are connected to, that name will come. It is not the same coming from someone else. We must be aware of these things. It's very important. Otherwise we'll go to any old kirtan. I like kirtan. And just go and it's just nonsense. We can offer respects from a distance. We do not know who is leading that kirtan or where the intention of that person is or anything. It's not the same. The holy name coming from the mouth of the pure Vaishnava and the holy name coming from the mouth of a materialistic person, that's going to be the same. It may be nam aparad that we're joining in. Complete exploitation of the name. The wrong thing will come in us. So we're not so foolish. Discrimination and systematic understanding are very important. Hare Krishna. We are throwing ourselves at the mercy and shelter of the holy lotus feet of the Lord and His great, great devotees. It is the only shelter of this world. And I challenge anyone to show me another one. And we all can do that. We all can make that challenge. It's reminding me of a story. I'll tell the story to you. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki
Jai.
Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Srila Bhakti Vakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki
Jai.
Shri Rupa Anuga Guru Varga Ki
Jai.
Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Acharya Vrinda Ki Jai
Jai.
Sannyasi Vrinda Ki Jai
Jai.
Namacharya
Haridas Thakur.
Srila Haridas
Srila
Thakur
Haridas.
Ki Jai Sadgoswami Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Narottam Shyamananda Srinivas Thakur Prabhu Ki Jai
Jai.
Haribo Saparshad Sriman Mahaprabhu Ki Jai
Jai.
Saparshad Shri Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai
Jai.
Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyamakunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai
Jai.
Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai
Jai.
Mathura Dham Ki Jai
Jai.
Navadvip Dham Ki Jai
Jai.
Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai.
Jai.
Now Jagannath Puri is, of course, coming up. Rath Yatra will be coming up soon, and this remembrance of Lord Jagannath is coming in the atmosphere of the divine world. Hari Bol. Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Mat Ki Jai, Tadisaka Ma Ki Jai, Shri Chaitanya Saraswati Mission Ki Jai,
Jai.
Kol Kartal Ki Jai,
Jai.
Hari Nam Sankirtan Ki Jai,
Jai.
Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki Jai,
Jai.
Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Shraddha Devi Ki Jai, Samaveda Vaishnava Mandala Ki Jai,
Jai.
Samaveda Bhakti Vrinda Ki Jai, all
Jai.
the assembled devotees Ki Jai,
Jai.
Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari
Bol.
Bol.
Srimati Sri Lekha Didi Ki
Jai,
Jai.
Gurudev Ki Jai. I got a microphone. Hari Bol.
Kumkum Didi says Jai Jai all the Vaishnavas.
Jai Didi.
Bima Krishna Prabhu says good morning. Dandavat.
No, Dandavat.
Divya Shakti Didi says Dandavat to all.
Who?
Divya Shakti.
Oh, Devi Shakti Devi.
I think Sharmila Eliha, I think she's Shyama Malini Didi.
Oh,
She says
Dandavat.
Dandavat. Then Ganga Lila Didi.
Dandavat.
And then Sita Didi. And Indumati Didi.
Oh, Dandavat.
Alright.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Gurudev.
Dandavat.